And let's see here.
Good for painting.
We ready? Let me get this box out of the way. All right, Chapter 8 Quest Review. Take a look at the first two questions. What are the directions for both of them? Evaluate. Evaluate literally means find the value, which means put it in your calculator. Yeah. Evaluate means I just want the answer. And the tool you use for just getting the answer is your calculator. So I'm going to type in the fifth, and then you want to use that x root. Make sure you're using the x root and not the square root. Okay? When I do this, this is like saying the fifth root of, and then I'm just going to type in that number, negative 248,832. Negative 12.
That was easy.
Good. No factor trees here. Okay, no factor trees, no work. Straighten your calculator when it says evaluate. Okay, right, exactly. All right, so for number 2, again, evaluate the cube root of 512. It does. Okay, so evaluate, straighten your calculator. Okay, now there's something missing from question number 3. Oh, I'm sorry, Jataya.
The sub is this one with all of us? Because she
Uh-huh.
said there was something missing
Yes.
or whatever. So was there a whole bunch of parentheses and then like numbers on the outside?
Well, that's how you would solve it. Here's what was missing. This should have said the square root of the fourth root of x to the 11th is equal to x to the power of y. That's what was missing.
And then this
Okay.
was a solve.
Well, what I wanted to know is what is this value of y? This is really just, this is written a little more formally, but this is the same as those ones where I gave you this and I said write it as an exponent. Okay, I just want to know what the exponent would be. So if I look back at like this one that we just did number 6, and I said write it as a single exponent, that's the same thing that you're doing here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So is it going to be written like that tomorrow?
Yes.
Like that or like this?
Like this.
Oh, no.
Okay, but it's going to be the same question. It's asking you the same thing. Okay? Isaac?
I got x to the 11/8.
Almost. Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, that's right. 11/8. Yep. Here's where that comes from for those of you who don't see it. Okay? This y is a fraction. This is x to the power of something over something. Okay? Remember the bottom number comes from your roots, and remember that one that doesn't have a root on it is really a 2. Okay? So 2 times 4 is 8. That's the number that's going to go on the bottom. The number on the inside, that's what goes on the top. So really the answer to the question is 11/8. Now if you wrote x to the 11/8, I probably would let that slide. But
I didn't write x to them.
okay, you just wrote the 11/8. That's what the answer should be.
I just said x to them.
So
Perfect.
where did the x go?
Okay. Well, the x is still there, but what the question wants to know is just what is the exponent. Yeah, it just wants to know what is the y equal to. So the x is still there. Probably what Mrs. DeVries showed you was this. She probably did
It was crazy.
x to the 11th, and we did this. I mean, we wrote it this way too. And then the fourth root is really the power of what? 1/4. And then the square root is the power of 1/2.
Yeah, so she did.
And so then this is 11/1, and then you just multiply all 3 of those together. 11 times 1 times 1 is 11, and 1 times 4 times 2 is 8. So you would still get 11/8.
Yeah, I like
Okay,
that.
so you can think of it either way. You can think of it all as powers and then just combine those powers together. Or you could think of it as, how do I get the top number, how do I get the bottom number? Okay? Remember, the inside number always goes on the top. Okay, look at number 4. It says, estimate the 6th root of 100 to the nearest hundredth. All right, if it's asking you to the nearest hundredth, what kind of answer do you think you're going to get? A decimal. And where do you think would be a convenient place to get a decimal answer? Okay. Okay. All right.
Your calculator.
Calculator. 6th root of 100. Now, if it says round to the nearest hundredth, I'm going to be picky about you rounding to the nearest hundredth.
Second one.
Okay, that's 2 places.
Right.
And then I should look at the next number to decide if I need to round. Do I?
No.
Nope, so it would be 2.15. Okay? All right, let's talk about a counterexample, number 5. Remember, a counterexample is something that proves something false. Okay?
So you would just write a number that doesn't make it work?
Right. What kind of numbers do you think would not make this work?
Negative.
Okay, negatives. Which means I don't want you to write any negative number. I want you to write a specific number. -2. Okay. So here's how you're going to show me that this is a counterexample. Okay? Shh. So I am saying that k is equal to -2. All right? That means that when I do the fourth root of -2 to the fourth, if this worked, it should come back out to equal -2. So let's check it out. What is -2 to the fourth power? To the fourth power it does.
It's decimal.
Okay,
The decimal.
it's not -16. Yeah, -2, I'm looking at just inside. I'm looking at just -2 to the power of 4. And of course you're going to remember to put that in parentheses. So that should come out to be +16. Okay? So now that's the fourth root of 16. From your calculator, what's the fourth root of 16? 2. Is that equal to what k was originally?
No.
Okay, so then I would say that is not equal to -2. That's your counterexample. Okay? So your counterexample, you're going to pick a number, and a negative number is going to be the one that's going to mess you up. So that's what I would pick. Plug it in there and show that it does not come back out to what it was originally. Does that make sense?
Wait, but originally,
Originally it was a -2. We got a +2, and so this right here is just saying that's not equal to what we started with. Okay? We're halfway done. That's half your test right there. How you feeling? Good? Okay.
I got everything all right.
Number 6. 6 is going to look a lot like, I think, number 19 from that packet that we just talked about. Because, are we going to do 5 minus 4 and make 1?
No.
No, because that -4 is on the outside. Yes, we're going to add the 4. Okay? So, cube root of a plus 5 is equal to +2. What do you want to do from here? Cube it.
Cube it.
Yep. Let's raise to the power of 3.
Cube it.
And so this is going to cancel. I'm going to be left with just a plus 5. And that's going to equal 8. Because 2 to the third power is 8. From here, I would just subtract the 5. Yep. And a equals 3. And of course, we're going to remember to do what? Check. We have to check. Okay? So here's how I would check one like this one. Cube root of, and underneath the radical, I'm putting 2 things. I'm putting a, which is 3, plus 5. So in parentheses, I'm going to say 3 plus 5. Close the parentheses, and then put -4 on the end. Okay? So you want to tell your calculator the 3 and the 5 go under the radical, but the 4 does not. Enter. Does it equal what it's supposed to? Yes. So this one works. Our answer is just a equals 3. You do not have to write out your check. Okay? You don't have to write out your check, but you should do it in your calculator. See? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Yes, tomorrow. That we turn this in for a grade. So I certainly hope that you're writing down everything I'm doing up here. Okay.
I have all right so far.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Let's do it again.
Okay. Number 7. Very much like number 20.
Yeah.
What do you want to do here?
Yeah.
Okay, combine them. And by combine, I mean I have 1 apple and 8 apples, so I have,
9.
okay, I have 9 fifth roots of 9m. Okay? Now what? Divide by 9. And I end up with, I'm going to go over here, the fifth root of 9m is equal to 3.
Cube it.
Not cube.
Raise it.
Raise it to fifth power. Good. So 9m is equal to 243. And then let's divide by 9. Is it 27?
Yes.
Okay. And we need to check. Okay. D. So in my calculator, I would type this in as the 5th root of, and then in parentheses, I would do 9 times 27. Okay. Again, if your calculator just let you type under the radical, you would put the 9 times 27 under the radical and then use your arrow to come out of the radical. Plus 8 times 5 root of 9 times 27 again. Came out to 27. Is that what it was supposed to be?
Yeah.
Yep, so we're good. M equals 27.
Is there going to be an extraneous one on the question?
I don't remember, quite honestly, if it's extraneous or not. Okay, I'll have to check. All right, 8 and 9.
Those are the struggle.
Okay, why? Because they have words?
Yes.
All right. Don't be scared of words. Okay. You're right. All this is a formula. And the words are just telling you what the letters are in the formula. What's R? Radius. And what's V? Volume. So when I am given that it's a volume of 1040, where is that number going to go? In for V. Okay, I'm going to write this out, and then I'm going to tell you what you might do wrong here.
Oh, no, this one, no, it was 9 that was started. You have to go back.
You do have to go backwards in 9. Yep.
I thought you had to go 13.5.
Okay. We can literally just type this into a calculator, but I advise against it. Okay? If you were to try to type this in all in one shot, there's a very good possibility that you'll make a mistake. Okay? So what I would do is I would do the fraction part first. So I am just going to do, and you might want to make a note to yourself about how I type this in, 3 times 1040 divided by, now because I'm dividing by 2 things, on the bottom there, I'm going to need to put that in parentheses. Okay? So I did 3 times 1040 divided by 4 pi in parentheses. I get 248.28. Okay? So now I'm doing the cube root of 248.28.
Oh, I got
So now,
I got like literally half of what my answer was, so like you could divide my answer by 2 and get that.
interesting.
I got 13.5.
So 6.3.
Yeah,
You got 13.5.
The first time?
Yeah.
Did you try to do it all at once?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my other word of advice to you. Okay. First of all, I recommend that you do the fractions separately, because if you do try to do it all at once, you just have to be really careful with parentheses. You end up needing like 2 sets of parentheses, and that can get complicated. So just take the time. If you don't even want to write out this middle step, if you just want to do it in your calculator and then save that number and go back and do the next step, that's fine. My other word of advice is all of you who got something different, did you know how to do the problem?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just typed in your calculator wrong, right? But if you have a wrong answer there and I don't know what you did, I don't know that you know how to do the problem. Write this out. This right here. Show me that you put 1040 in for V. It'll take you 2 seconds. And then if you do this and then have a wrong answer, I'm going to say, oh, this person knows how to do the problem. They typed it in their calculator wrong. That's way less of a big deal and way fewer points than if you didn't write anything down at all. See? You would get a deduction, but it would, like, this is probably a 3-point problem. I'll have to double check my answer key. You would probably lose 1 out of those 3. Whereas if you just had that wrong answer and didn't write this down, I'm not going to try to guess what you did wrong. I'm just going to take off the whole 3 points. Okay? So you're looking at like a 2-point difference on this tiny of a test. That's going to be a pretty big difference. So please, please, please write this step down, because this at least tells me you knew what to do. You just didn't know how to do it. Okay?
I'm typing it in, and I'm not getting it.
The cube root of 248.28? Okay. Make sure you're using the x root and not the square root. So you're going to type 3 x root 248.28.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about when I did everything under the radical first. I didn't get.
You didn't get to. Okay. Did you do it with the 4 pi in parentheses?
No.
Okay. The 4 pi, because And this is another thing that maybe you want to work the top out separate and the bottom separate, but if you type it into your calculator like this, okay, if you type that in, your calculator is going to do 3 times 1040, it's going to divide by 4, and then it's going to multiply by pi. But you want to divide by that pi also. So to tell your calculator that you've got to divide by that whole thing, you want parentheses here. Okay? That's important. That's where you get the 248 from.
Okay.
40.
Divided by, and then 4 pi in parentheses.
Would you ever round that?
All right, yeah, I got it.
I would not round this early in the problem. If this came out to be your final answer, I might round it. But if you round off too early, your final answer is going to be way off.
Oh,
So I would try to keep this with as many decimals as you possibly can.
okay.
Okay? Okay, so number 9, another scary one, because there's words, but it's just a formula. I cannot even tell you how many word problems are just formulas. Okay? So here's your formula. What does S represent?
S equals the speed
Okay, the minimum speed. And what does L represent?
indicates the mark of length.
Okay,
Skid
it's
mark.
the length of a skid mark. So this is what, like police officers and accident investigators, insurance adjusters, this is what they use when they come to investigate an accident site. They look at how long your skid mark was before the accident, and from that they can figure out how fast you must have been going. Okay? So when you say to the officer, I swear I was only going 30 miles an hour, and you've got a 200-foot skid mark, they're going to know that that's not true. Okay? So, it says a car stopped quickly from a speed of 68 miles an hour. So where is that 68 going to go? Isaac?
Just wondering, did
Sure.
you get in more trouble if they found out you lied? Like,
Possibly.
Lying to a police
Possibly.
officer
I mean,
against the law.
Lying to a police officer would be troublesome. I don't know if something like speed, if they would even really ask you. I don't know that they would come to an accident site and say, well, how fast were you going?
They ask you if you know how fast you're going.
Okay, like if they pull you over for speeding,
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
You're not bad,
you
you're
say,
right.
Okay.
I don't know, officer.
But in an accident situation, something like that, I don't know if they're going to come to you and say, how fast were you going? And then say, oh no, your skid mark says otherwise. But, you know, just my point to you is that they can figure it out, you know. Even if you say, I swear I was only going 20 miles an hour. Okay?
So police officers have to take a lot of math?
I mean, some math, probably not like,
Do they also have to measure the
Calculus.
Alright.
okay? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably.
You were going slow, and then the car crashed you from behind, and you have a longer skid mark.
I could see that. I guess they would take that into consideration. All right, let's put the 68 in for S. So 68 equals 2 times the square root of 5L. This is 2 times the square root. So what do you want to do?
Divide by 2.
Sure, let's divide by 2. So then you would have 34 equals the square root of 5L. All right? How do I get rid of a square root? Square it.
Square that thing.
34 squared is something giant. Oh, not too giant. 1156 equals 5L.
Divided by 5.
Good. Divide by 5. Divide by 5.
That's right. I'm proud of myself.
Good. And we end up with 231.2. I didn't put it in the problem, but I'm pretty sure that's feet.
I only got one wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very
Nice.
good. Alright.
Okay.
And 10 is just a simple
I'm
simple.
rolling.
10. Simplify. How am I doing on time?
Rolling
Yeah,
out.
Okay, we can do it. All right, what's different about number 10 than numbers 1 and 2?
You just simplify it.
It says simplify, not evaluate. Simplify means, what do I have to make? Factor tree. Let me do this real fast. Let's do 40 and 100. So this is 8 and 5,
Oh, I did 1580.
2 and 4, 2 and 2. 100 is 10 and 10, 2 and 5, 2 and 5. Okay, so what do we have pairs of? Okay, so I see a pair of 2s here, another pair of 2s here and here,
5.
okay, and a pair of 5s.
C5.
here and here.
And then you got 2 and a 4 left over.
And
I
then
got
2,
2 and 5 left over.
Oh.
2 and 5, 2 and 5.
5, 2 left over.
Let me multiply those.
Okay, for n to the 9th, you have 9 n's. 4 pairs, good. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs. So I'm putting 4 on the outside, 1 for each pair, 1 left over on the inside. Okay, when I put this all back together, 2 times 2 times 5 is going to be 20. N to the 4th, and then square root of 10n. Final answer. That is your quest tomorrow. Please make sure you review these 10 problems before you go, or before you come back tomorrow. Okay?